What it do? This is the Brothers on Books podcast, where we find great books that will give you real value and actionable steps and have fun in the process. Please reach out to us at brothersonbooks@gmail.com for any book recommendations, or if you'd like to be a guest host for a particular book you have in mind. A great review or rating on whichever platform you're listening to this would be greatly appreciated. If you can think of any friend, family member, or coworker that might like this episode, please pass it along. For the original episodes, the OGs, please visit brothersonbooks.com. And now we are on Instagram at brothersonbooks and on Twitter at B_O_B_B_podcast. That's a handful. I am Jack Allwile, and with me is no one, actually. Al's got the week off. I'm doing a solo mission on The Go-Giver, a little story about a powerful business idea. And this book is by Bob Burg and John David Mann. It is very similar to our very first episode, Richest Man in Babylon, where we discussed the 10 laws of wealth. And in this book, we're discussing the 5 laws of stratospheric success. Now, let's get right into it. The law of value is the number one law of stratospheric success. And that is saying that your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. So next time you're interacting with someone, try to give a little bit of value to the conversation. Or if you're interacting in a business environment, try to give a little more than what's expected of you, and good things will happen. Now, I often think of teachers as the best teachers are very valuable in the sense they're giving you a lot of tools to build upon. But a lot of times teachers in school don't really get paid that much. Now, even though they're adding oftentimes a lot of value to the children's life, or even adults who are taking any sort of class. And it's kind of coupled with the second law of stratospheric success, which is the law of compensation. And that is saying that your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. So let's say a teacher is very valuable in the classroom, but unfortunately, they're not getting paid a lot. Well, they could take that value that they are instilling in their students. Maybe they come up with a YouTube channel where they can teach the masses, and that can be a way for them to serve more people. And there's a good quote about this. And it's basically saying that you have control over your compensation. It means that you get to determine your level of compensation. It is under your control. If you want more success, find a way to serve more people. It is that simple. The third law of stratospheric success, the law of influence. This states your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. So this is it's not like you scratch my back, I scratch your back. It's not keeping score. You don't want to keep score. Like I would say like in marriage, you're not really keeping score. In friendships, you're not really keeping score. It's I'm trying to add value and put your interests before mine. The fourth law of stratospheric success is the law of authenticity. This is stating that the most valuable gift you have to offer is yourself. And they kind of go through this law by showing how this guy is struggling very much so with sales pitches, and he's trying all these different sales pitches that he's been taught. But at the end of the day, he's not really being himself when he's going through these. He's kind of just going through the motions, and he's trying to implement what he's learned, but he's not being his authentic self. So be yourself, and good things will happen. Now, the law of receptivity is the fifth law of stratospheric success, and that is saying the key to effective giving is to stay open to receiving. And there's a good section in here that says, and this is our main character speaking. So the secret to success, to gaining it, to having it, is to give, give, give. The secret to getting is giving. And the secret to giving is making yourself open to receiving. And this is what we call the law of receptivity. And it is simple as that. I guess some of my thoughts, this book was very easy to read. It's only about 120 pages. It's a book that I've now read twice, and I probably will read it every few years just as a refresher. It's very good to get you in the mindset of giving and being charitable and trying to put yourself in a position to succeed. One other thing that I thought helped reading this book was that I didn't mention in the Law of Influence is kind of checking in with people. You want people to like vouch for you. You want people in your corner. So, and Jordan Harbinger, who's in my opinion one of the best podcasters around, he kind of has this idea, or he states, you need to drill the well before you're thirsty. And you need to start making connections and get people in your corner before you really need them, before you're like desperate for, a job or, well, anything. So one thing I started doing relatively frequently through that type of thinking and this book was oftentimes I'll go to the very bottom of my text messages, and which would be the furthest in the past, and I will just message that person just to keep myself in the loop. And I want to stay connected with these people too. So and it's genuine. Like I'm just going to the bottom of my text, sending a short text, how you doing, and hope all is well. What's new with you? And that's all it takes. So the things I'll really take from this are getting people in your corner and just trying to add the most value to the most people. And it's very I would say liberating when you really control what you can get out of this life. If you help more and more people, you will see the benefits. And honestly, if any of you have any ideas on how to add extra value, or maybe there's something you did this week that you were super proud of, why don't you send it in the notes on our YouTube page? On the bottom of this YouTube channel, this video, why don't you put in the comments what you did to add more value to someone else's life? And with that, please reach out to us at brothersonbooks@gmail.com for any book recommendations, or if you'd like to be a guest host for a particular book you have in mind. A great review or rating on whichever platform you're listening to this would be greatly appreciated. And lastly, if you can think of any friend, family member, or coworker that might like this episode, please pass it along. I am Jack Allwell, and I'm signing out. I will see you next week.